Hi crafty friends, welcome to another video where I use 4 parameters from the latest episode of Craft Roulette. Hello crafty friends, today's video is a card I'm making for Craft Roulette using the 4 parameters for this week. I'm doing something new. I'm trying to make a video where I talk and make the card at the same time instead of going making the whole video and then voice dubbing over it. I do that when I have shopping hauls, and they've been okay. The reason I hesitate is because I have 3 dogs and they bark often, and I have 2 kids that often interrupt me. But I'm going to give it a try because I think it might cut down on some editing time. So I'm going to give that a shot. So these are the products that I pulled from my stash that I'm planning on using with the 4 parameters, which are thank you decorations for the colors. I'm going to go with fall decorations. And then the elements are hands, so I'm going to use a stamp for that. And then tone on tone, I'm going to color some paper or ink some paper in fall colors, but in oranges and reds for the tone on tone. So let's see, the first thing I need to do is get a piece of paper. And I also have cats. So my cat may pay a visit in the video as well because she often walks across my desk. So we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. All right. So I'm going to start with a piece of cardstock, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I don't know about you guys, but I always have to think which way I cut the paper to get the right size. I don't know why. You'd think it'd be automatic by now, but I always have to think. All right, so that's that size, and then I go 4 1/4. All right. So now I'm going to ink this. Okay, let's see. I'm going to use my oxides, because I think they blend fairly well. So let's see. What colors do I want to do? Let's see. I like the spiced marmalade. I think that's a fun color. I think I'm going to go with the wild honey. And then I want some a bright color. Crackling campfire. Let's go with that for the red tone. All right. All right. I have not used oxides in quite a while, so I'm kind of excited to use them. All right, let's go. Let's just get into it. Now, I've noticed when you use oxides, you really have to swirl your brush when you're ink blending to make sure that you get a nice coverage on the brush. Now, I'm sorry if my camera is jiggling. I have tried setups, and I could eventually hang it from the ceiling, but the camera stand that is on the desk, I just can't seem to get it where it doesn't shake when I do certain things. It was on a different desk in front of my desk that I work on, but it was too far away and I was having trouble staying on camera. So I moved it onto my actual desk that I work on, which is much more helpful, but it shakes. I haven't figured it out yet. All right, now let's try some spiced marmalade. This always makes me nervous mixing, but Tim Holtz always says you can, as long as it's all oxide, you can use, the color family brush, but it makes me nervous. But who can afford to have a brush for every single oxide. I mean, how many are there? And I have almost all of them. I'm missing a few. Let's do some more crackling campfire. So far, so good. My dogs are quiet. I shouldn't have said that. Any minute, they're going to start barking. All right, I have no plan other than just to get this cardstock fully colored in these colors. All right, I think that's good with that one. And now let's do some more spiced marmalade. That's a really pretty color. These oxides definitely blend beautifully. All right, so there's my tone-on-tone background. Now, the question is, do I spray it with some water and give it some more detail? Which I think I will. I mean, it's oxide. I feel like you kind of have to. I'm going to do the, like, flick it on and then take it off. Let's see. Ooh, fun. All right. Let's do that again. Cool. Move this over, let it dry a bit. Clean up my workspace. So now the next thing is to put it through this embossing folder. There is my embossed. And I went on the 3D is hard to decide which side you want to do it on, but I decided to go with the pushed in side because I want to layer some stuff on top. So I didn't want to have all of this texture. I kind of liked it this way better. Okay, so next I'm going to try a technique that I have not done before, but I have seen many times. I'm going to roll some rusty hinge over it and see. It's not too dark, so I want to give it a little try and see a little water and see what happens. It's not doing what I had thought that it was going to do, but it's still kind of fun, so that's good. I think, I wonder what it would have done on the other way. Yeah, it's not really doing it there either. Well, I gave it a try. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So it would have worked better if I had done it that way, but that's fine. That's fine. I'm experimenting, but I kind of like what it did. So that's good. All right, so let me clean that up. Now I'm gonna take some rusty hinge and I'm gonna use my brown, it's kind of orangey brown, but I'm gonna use my brown brush. And I'm just gonna bring in some, normally I would do that with like vintage photo, but I don't know, I didn't want to go crazy dark. Just wanted to do a little bit on the edge, and I don't even know how much of this I'm cutting off yet. That's gonna all depend on what I decide to do with a mat or not. There, I think that's a fun paper. Okay, I'm gonna put that to the side and let it dry. Okay, my next is this stamp set. I'm going to use this bear. Okay, next I'm going to use some repositional tape, just a tiny bit, because I decided to cut out my shape. So now it's stuck pretty good. I mean, it'll definitely still move, but I need something more than just these magnets, because I decided to cut my shape out first so that I could I have trouble lining things up. So I just wanted to try and do it this way. Oh, things tend to be crooked on me no matter what I do. So I'm going to stamp my bear on this little panel. He has hands. And I'm going to use VersaFine because I'm going to use my colored pencils for this stamp. I probably will only have to stamp this once. Memento seems to be tricky and needs to be stamped more than once, but VersaFine, voila. You know what? While I'm waiting for that to dry, I need to stamp his hands again, and you're going to see why when I start to put it together. I'm going to have him hold a banner, and so it's going to be over his arms. So then I'm going to cut this arm out to put where he's holding the banner. So I'm going to give it a try. Let's see what happens. So I just need that arm. More ink. And another arm, which didn't work. Oh, because the stamp is touching my magnets. All right. Oopsie. Hopefully that worked. I mean, it's a tiny piece of paper. If it did. Oh, that's good enough. Okay. So the way that I color with colored pencils is I do have a color chart with all my pencils swatched, but I don't feel like it ever gives me a true color. It's good for a dark shading. So I always use a scrap piece of card stock that is the same color that I'm using, the same exact one that I'm using at the time, because colored pencils look different. On every paper. Same way markers do. So I like to, no, that's too red. I like to make little tests on the actual paper that I'm using. That's a good lighter one. Okay. All right, I'm going to color this in real time for a little bit, and then I will speed it up. So let's see. I want to use my darkest shade. Now I know I'm going to cover some of this, but I like to color. Oh, there's a little ink mess on his arm. Oh, hopefully you won't see it once it's colored in. I don't know why that happens. It happens to me. See the little schmutz on his shoulder? I don't know why that happens. All right, so I like to color like all of it's going to be exposed, because then I don't have to worry later on about, oh, I wish I had colored that right there. I left that blank. I just color the whole thing. And it's good practice anyway to color. I also really enjoy coloring, so I'm just, no rhyme or reason really on where I'm putting the darker colors. I'm kind of guessing, well, if his arm was on top of his body, obviously it would be darker there. And then under his face, his like snout would be darker. And then that's kind of what I was thinking.
Hey, just a quick break in the crafty fun to remind you to like and subscribe and even maybe hit that notification bell. Thank you. And now back to the fun.
Okay, he's all colored in. Now, are you ready for the magic? Some Zest It and some paper nubs. I forget what these are called. These are better than these. I will say that. But I can get away with using those. And they have them on Amazon, and I got them. I think the Zested I got from them directly because it's a European company, but it's highly, it's a citrus smell. I love it. And it's non-toxic, so it's good because my craft room is not very ventilated. I have my windows closed, so this is supposedly non-toxic. So, all right, so here comes the magic. So I'm just using a back and forth, sometimes a little scrubbing method, and blends it all. Oh, there's Zested in here, and then just some cotton balls, and I've had that for probably a year. I'm actually thinking of redoing it. It's in a baby food jar. I cannot tell you how old that baby food jar is. Because, as I'm sure a lot of you being crafters see, ooh, that's a great sized glass jar that I could use, and kept it because my kids are 12 and 16. So, and I have a bunch of baby food jars in a drawer that I kept, that I washed out and kept. So I'm just blending all of the colors that I kind of added in. And I went over there a little bit. I'm going to use a white gel to cover that up. No matter how careful I am, I seem to always do it in one spot or another. And I'll just do a little scrubbing. And he's coming to life. Coming to life. I highly recommend this technique. It makes color penciling look like I am a professional. I think Gina K does it. I've seen Kathy Zilski use it. I think they use Gamsol instead of Zest It. But I tested them both out, and I don't see any difference. Except that the Zest It has a lemony, citrusy smell, which I like. And supposedly, it's not toxic. Now I have a little brown on the end of this that I'm going to, I already did his other arms. I'm just going to rub on this scrap so I can get some of the color out. The other thing you get with your pencils is this like little sandpaper. It helps sharpen it and get color off. But since I'm still technically doing a brown, just a lighter brown, I just rubbed it off. That doesn't work if you were going to go with like a pink or a yellow. Then you want to use a different paper stub. And then the black nose. And he is done. Now I'm going to let that dry just a little bit just to get some of the zest to dry. Oops. See, it's not even through the paper. So I love this stuff. All right, I'm going to set that aside before I just get rid of that over spot. Oops. And I'll be right back. All right, the next product I'm going to use is new. Never used it before. Is this stamp, die cut, and stencil set for banner. Here are the die cuts. I want to use this one because the thank you is that I want to use is that. All right, never used this one before. So I have a scrap piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to put it. This mat is so sticky, which is a good thing. So I want to do it in the oranges that I used for the background. I'm going to go with the lightest, which was Wild Honey. Okay, it's the first time I'm using this. Let's see how I do. Okay, and then, oh my gosh, is this stuck? I mean, I'm not complaining. You want it to stick. And it, boy, does it. All right, so then I have the little bottom bits. Well, the side bits are a bit darker, which I don't know how to line these up. Oh, well, if I put it the right way, that would help. Let's try that again, shall we? Oh, crafting is fun. Wait a minute. How does this go? Oh, it goes down here. Okay. Maybe I should put the bottom bits first, and that will help me line it up. Yeah, I think that's a good decision, I think. Never used this before. You guys are all privy to first time using it. Now I want to go with the darker color, the darkest, which is the crackling campfire. Okay, let's do it. Okay. Then, do I have it upside down this time? No. Then these parts are the next, which I have to figure out how to line them up, which I'm not doing a good job of. So it starts at the bottom of that shadow. Oh, stop sticking. Only stick when I want you to stick. I'm going to move this down a little bit. Sorry if my head gets in there. All right, I think that's as good as it's going to get. All right. All right, spiced marmalade. All right. And now for the reveal. Ooh, that looks really cute. I'm happy with that. Okay. Let's see what we can do. I have to move this down. All right. Here we go. Is it going to be straight? I don't know. But here's to hoping. Fingers crossed. Okay, so VersaFine. Thank you. I think it's straight. I'm not even going to do it again because I don't want to mess it up. Yay! Okie dokie. Let's assemble our pieces. So, card base. All right, let's assemble our pieces. Card base. And I'm going to trim this so there's a little white border. And I'm going to ink the edges in Vintage Photo. Okay. And then I cut a piece of it's Echo Park fall paper. So when they have their sales, even if it's not something that I was going to scrapbook with, when they have their warehouse sales or their paper pad sales, I will then get a bunch to, I'm not going to do the white one. So they have a lot of paper, pattern papers for cards. So I decided I wanted to use that side. And let's assemble the card. Need some glue. Glue. Sure, it's the right way. All right, glitter glue. I have such a hard time. Even though I leave the pin in it, I don't know what's been happening with my glue lately. I cannot, I don't know. They just don't flow the way that they did when they were new. Ooh, let's just stab myself. I'm really contemplating getting that glue press with the Nevo glue because this is so frustrating. All right, so I got the glue going. On. Still squeezing pretty hard. It's really annoying. All right, now let's get this centered as good as we can. Not bad. Press it down. There we go. All right, I'm gonna put that block on there where it's a little popped up. And I'll add some glue to this panel. Oh no. Got some glue where I didn't want it. Okay. Now, here we go. Then, for his paws, or hands that are holding the banner. One there. And one here. There we go. There's his little hands. hands. Perfect. Cute. All right. Now let's put him on here. Should we pop it up? No. No, I'm going to just glue it down. Okay. Come on, glue. Come out. Cute. Okay. And I'm pressing. Done. Look how cute he came out. Let's see what we got here. Thank you card. Decoration colors fall. His hands are holding the banner. And the background is tone on tone. I call that a done. Till next time. Have a crafty day.
Thanks so much for watching.